Speaking to a lot of contractors over the years, what I find is that loads of doors are being closed on really skillful people because there's a lot of uncertainty around a contractor in a permanent position. So what I am hoping to do in this video is try to address some of those uncertainties and give you some ideas on how to answer them. So shall we kick off with the biggest question that gets asked contractors is, you're earning a lot of money right now, doing a very similar job to someone that's not earning as much as you but in a permanent position, sometimes double to that. So what is the reason why you're quite happy to accept a lot less money than you're currently on? That question always gets asked, actually. You know, some contractors do come at me though and say, hey, I'm on 65, I'm happy to take 55 for a permanent position when the job is being advertised at 40,000. That's a big jump for some employers to pay 10 grand more, because maybe 95% of that workforce is paid probably exceptionally well in the marketplace, but that is the top end of that scale. I come across it with pretty much every single company that does that. Market rates dictated by companies, there and thereabouts fall into the same kind of category where they're paying about 10, 15, 20 grand less than the contractor, or you know, whatever that percentage is, less than the contractor is currently on in that marketplace. I'm speaking from engineering here, but you know, you could take that into any other sector, social workers, the IT sector, you know, anything between 33 to 50%, maybe 100%. So that's something you need to understand and circumnavigate around, is that you are going to be paid a lot less than what you're currently on. Is that a pill you're quite happy to swallow for stability in your career? Or is that going to be a difficult thing to do? And if so, what is going to happen is that most companies you speak to will not pay that amount of money. Some will try to negotiate with you and try to get as close to that as possible, but you'll find that a lot of their hands are tied because of internal processes. So be aware of this. It's really important you are, because that will stop you applying for most jobs out there and wasting your time. I guess the next bit of it that you need to circumnavigate around, being a contractor, you're a fluid workforce member. You can go anywhere in the world you want. Location is not an issue. However, in the permanent recruitment world, location is all the issue. A lot of managers don't like people that relocate. That is being honest and open. Saying you're willing to relocate does actually turn a manager off. Ideally, what they want is someone that can do the job and can do it tomorrow. That's what they really want. If there's 3 months notice with permanent people, then most of the time the location of that particular person tends to be local anyway, or within a commutable distance. It's rare that some companies wait for people to relocate unless there's a damn good reason for it. You're the only skill set in the country that can do that role, then they're quite willing to help you with relocation, or they're really struggling for people in that job, so they will help people to relocate there. Standard jobs these days, most managers don't, or prefer not to go for someone that needs to relocate. So when you're applying for these permanent positions, location is extremely important. So where you live and where the job is, you need to think about that. So this next one is actually a hiring manager question that I get asked as a recruiter. And this is extremely important to them: commitment. Now, as a contractor, let's be perfectly honest, you're paid a lot, you're quite fluid, you can move around, you can pick and choose, and you don't have to turn up tomorrow. Some contracts you can probably give a week's notice, but you can disappear when you want. That level of commitment to a role basically defines you as a person that can basically go for the higher bidder. I don't blame you if that's who you are. If you like to be paid a lot more, who doesn't? You will go for that particular person. Similar question that gets asked to people of a higher level going for lower level jobs. You know, why are you taking that drop? If an opportunity came back and it was that much more pay again, would you take it? What is your commitment? To kind of cap that and put that to kind of bed for any future employee, you need to go back to your why. Why are you not being a contractor any longer? Why are you becoming a permanent member employee? What is that all about? So if you can define that why, and it's a good why, then you should be able to get that commitment out of yourself for that particular employer. And that is really important. If you can't answer that question, that employer is not going to be convinced and won't believe in the fact you're going to be committed to them if you start working for them. So this last bit, it's more of a recruiter's perspective for you as a contractor trying to get into a permanent role. When I do contractors, I get a contract role, I get a CV from a contractor. Somewhere on that CV, it matches the contract, that you've done it before. After a conversation with you, let's put you forward. Hiring manager then goes, yeah, can they start Monday? I can see they can do the job. And you start Monday. Permanent. A lot different. Permanent recruitment is really justification, showing evidence, showing reasoning why that particular person is right for the role. And if you can't verbalize that, then the hiring manager is not going to invite that person for an interview. And it might not be one interview, it might be 2 or 3 interviews as well. So you need to make sure it's right, because there's a lot of time that's going to be spent trying to define if this person's the right person for them. The problem with some contracting CVs that I come across, it's a long list of opportunities and jobs that you've done. It's an advertisement. When it comes to permanent recruitment, it's more about evidence. Where have you done that? How have you done that? You know, was it successful? Where can you do this again? What are you learning? And that's basically more about kind of investment of time in you. Investment in you to come and work for them so you can do this job that they're going to pay you for all day, every day, with maternity and paternity and holidays and pension and employee benefits and all the other stuff you get being a permanent member employee and not a limited company contract. So you've got to think about this. What are you? Who are you? You know, what is the skill set you're bringing to the table? So when you apply for these permanent roles, try and not be tempted to chuck over your contractor CV, which is, like I say, a list of great things that you've done. Try to chuck over a more defined CV, defining you and what you can bring to the table and why you are relevant for that role. That will open up the recruiter a lot more to speak to you. And hopefully, if you're chucking them at hiring managers, that will intrigue the hiring manager to have a conversation with you to find out more about you. And that's when you go back to all the questions I said earlier on and then give them the real why you're there. So to recap, think about your why. Think about why you're there. Think about your salary. Think about what is acceptable to you. What can you take in a... It's going to be a pay cut. Let's be honest. It's going to be a pay cut. Give people confidence that you're not going to jump when you see a better rate, a better role like you used to when you were a contractor. And also define your CV. What is it, your skill set? What are your strengths and why are you applying for that job? And what can you bring that job? These things are slightly different methodologies to the way you would have normally got a contract. So think about them before you apply for your next permanent role. Good luck.